It's almost that time of year where season passes for the next season go on sale. Hello, everyone. Alongside Ryan Sir, I'm Don Helbig, and this is Tower Topics.
Tower Topics is a podcast by Kings Island fans for Kings Island fans, because that's who we are, and that's who we care about. So, Don, we have not heard anything about season passes for 2025. We do know that for 2024, your pass doesn't get you into the Six Flags parks and so on. Okay. But some information we got shows that the season pass program for 2025 may actually be a worst case scenario.
Yeah, from what we understand, passes again typically go on sale the next year when new capital plans are being announced. We see that August 8th, some teasers by parks, Canada's Wonderland, Carowinds, so that would kind of be around the time when, season passes may go on sale as early as August 8th, maybe a couple weeks later. But the speculation from what we've seen on social media posts is nothing's going to change from what the Legacy Cedar Fair parks and the Legacy Six Flags parks had this year in place when 2025 passes go on sale. They're talking about that an option could be added later, for all the parks in the chain, but when they first go on sale, pretty much status quo for what they were for 2024.
Yes, and in addition to that, the documentation and this is from parkfans.net. That's at Park Fans Network on Twitter, but they said per leaked documentation, by the way, you're not invited to Media Day anymore, that are saying that the all-season park add-ons for each of the chains, Six Flags and the Cedar Fair parks, will not work at the other parks. So your Kings Island meal plan will not work at Six Flags Over Georgia. Your Six Flags Over Georgia meal plan will not work at Kings Island. So here's the problem, Don. We live in a day and age where we don't know if the parade starts at 7 or 9. And now we're going to be tasked with communicating to the masses that your all-park passport is only good at the parks that are owned by Six Flags, but the ones that were owned by Cedar Fair before Six Flags, until some date in the future in which you can get into all the Six Flags parks, including the ones named Six Flags. Oh, and by the way, your add-ons are only good at the ones that were Cedar Fair parks before they were Six Flags parks. Good luck with communicating that one to the public.
Well, again, this is all, speculation, just going on what we saw out there on social media. And that was not the only site that was talking about this. But it's complicated, when you have a merger like this and at the time of year when it finally closed and you're just around the corner from season passes for the next year going on sale. So I would understand if it was the same situation when they first go on sale for 2025, that Legacy Cedar Fair parks, same deal, same thing with Six Flags. There's all different levels of passes. They weren't comparable to what the other parks had.
Yes.
You have Prestige, you have Gold, you have Summer Pass, you have Silver Pass. You have all those different things. Diamond Pass with the Legacy Six Flags parks. So there's a lot of different levels and tiers and pricing and what they were good for, and it's just a lot of things to work through. And they probably need more time. Again, this is not fact. We don't know for sure that's going to be the case, but it's looking like that just based on what we've seen.
So normally I would agree with you. It's complicated. It takes time. There's a merger. Let me play devil's advocate. So they've known about this since at least November. Okay. They've known that it's two different programs that are incompatible with each other since both of them had season pass programs, even before they started talking merger. Season pass sales are not an insignificant portion of the business. We've had Dennis speak on the Attractions Group podcast twice, and he's said several times that our business is based on repeat customers. So the season pass thing is very important. It's a very big revenue stream. The fact that they weren't able to think through this and come up with a solution, knowing that this is coming and knowing that it's coming for over a year before, because season passes don't really have to go on sale until Christmas season. Ideally, you want to have them on sale when the new capital is announced, but I've said all along that this might be the year where Capital's announced, and then season pass sales come much later because they're still figuring it out. But I don't think that there's a very great excuse for not having your ducks in order with this. The first thing they should have done is sat down and figured out what we're going to do about all these diamond pass holders, what we're going to do about these prestige pass holders. I mean, they don't care about the prestige pass holders. They can screw them over. They don't care. But the diamond pass holders, what are they going to do for them? And the fact of the matter is the Six Flags passes are much cheaper. So the Six Flags people are going to want to use their pass. They're going to want to get the same benefits, and they're going to want to get the same price. The Cedar Fair people not only are going to want to have the benefits they had, but they're going to look at all the parks that are on the other side of the coin. They're going to be like, you mean you get 4 skip the line passes? I only get 1. Oh, and my pass costs 3 times as more. They should have thought about this stuff. These are the best people in the industry for seasonal parks. I don't think that I can really chalk this up to anything beyond either this information's wrong or there's something to this that I'm not understanding, because I think that not having a plan in place for this is unacceptable. It's kind of like you and they've got a TV department that's completely empty, and it's like, oh, they'll come next summer. No, that's not how this works.
Yeah, well, it does say, based on that report that we saw, that you would be able to, at a later date, add on, the other chains legacy parks to your plan. But, Ryan, I do think, though, it's not that easy, because you do have, like I said, those different price levels, different benefits, and all those other things, and trying to find the best way to integrate all this together. I mean, even though you were talking, they knew that this was probably coming back in November, and that, I mean, there's a lot you have to work through. So if this is the case, and we do find when season passes go on sale for 2025 that it's the same as it was last year, that it's only good for the legacy Cedar Fair parks if you get the all parks passport. If you're just buying a Kings Island pass and that's it, none of this matters to you. But if you're trying to get the all parks passport, the all parks add on with dining and drinks and all of that, then it does matter to you if you wanted to go to, say, Six Flags over Georgia, Six Flags over St. Louis, Six Flags Magic Mountain, wherever you want to go. So at that, if you're that guest, yeah, it does matter to you. But we'll see. I mean, season passes, we're not that far off from them, going on sale for next year. So we'll see what that plan looks like at the start. And, maybe they've got it all figured out by the time they go on sale.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what this leaked documentation is, but I'd be very curious as to how this is communicated out on a mass scale, because
that's going to be the big thing. Yeah, you're right. Communication is going to be vital, critical when season passes
even if it's
done
sale perfectly, where it's okay, your pass is going to work at this park and the Cedar Fair legacy parks, but the other ones will come later. Like, how do you
right,
or how do you orientate that without looking like an idiot? Because that's a stupid plan. Now, here's the thing. The reality is they don't want to do what they know that they need to do. They know exactly what they need to do, and that's they need to wipe the entire program and start from scratch. On the Cedar Fair side, that's easy because you get a new pass, you renew it every year. I mean, for this year they added the all park passport that was probably intended for, the rest of the parks or whatever, which they can tier out in different ways. But with the Six Flags parks, a lot of people were guaranteed like a price rate for life. They're going to break that covenant. It's, I don't know, just change the language on the website like you did with prestige pass holders. But that's ultimately what they're going to have to do. And they're going to have to bite that bullet now unless they want to have like a mess on their hands. Because what if somebody shows up with an all park passport to Six Flags in Chicago and they drove 6 hours out there and it's like, well, it says all park, so is this not a park? Is this not part of Six Flags? Like, I understand that, like, you can communicate this stuff, but if you don't keep it simple, then there's a lot of it on you. So I implore them, not that my opinion matters in the least, but I implore them to come up with some sort of solution, even if it costs them a little bit, even if it breaks a couple promises. They need a solution. They need it now. They need to have this whole thing in order for the 2025 season. They need to start that synergy now, or else they're going to lose complete confidence.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the most frequently asked questions that you and I see is what's going to happen with season passes come the 2025 season.
Yeah, now you and I have speculated about what we think will come, and I think that you were in the boat of they'll do all park passport. It'll cost about the same.
Well, a little bit more maybe, but not substantially.
Right. But it's not going to be $500. It's going to be, what is it, like $100 now? It'll be $150 or whatever. I think they'll do regional passes. I think there'll be an all Ohio pass and an East Coast pass and stuff like that. I think, and then there's an all park that's good for all the Six Flags parks that cost $500. That's how they're going to justify it. But
I saw something, an article that was written recently about the possibility of there being that Southern California pass for Magic Mountain and Knott's. So that was written by a pretty credible writer. Yeah,
it was, but it was still. But the thing that was, it wasn't like I had heard that. It was more like now there's the possibility of this.
Possibilities, right?
Knots and whatever. I hope that's not the case. I hope you're right, and I hope it's $150 for an all park passport, and it, you know, you can go to all the parks. I don't really visit a whole lot of parks. I when I travel to parks, I go to Florida, but I wouldn't want to have to add on a very expensive add-on because I decided to go to Magic Mountain, you know, when I could have had a diamond pass in the past and just gotten in. But that being said, let's ask the users, like the users, the listeners, what are your thoughts on this? What kind of pass would you like to see? Would you like to see the Six Flags system initially, like diamond passes and stuff like that? Would you like to see that at Kings Island? Or would you like to see the all park passport extended to the Six Flags park, the legacy Six Flags parks? I mean, how would you like to see this formulated? Because this, how it is rumored to be, is going to be horrendous. And I think that the people that are going to suffer the most are the people that are in two markets. The people that are in the Six Flags Chicago market trying to go to Cedar Point, where they might want to buy a pass with an add-on, but that may not come. It's going to come sometime over the summer, but they don't say if it's June or, you know. And then you got the Six Flags America, Kings Dominion. There's plenty of them.
And then you've got people like me that have the Legacy Cedar Fair pass with the All Parks passport, but I also have the Six Flags Diamond Pass. So when it comes time to renew, you know, I'm, you know, not likely to renew for both at the same time when they go on sale, and, you know, try to take a look and see what's going to happen. If there's that possibility that the add-on could come later for the Legacy Six Flags parks, and I would hold off until, you know, later probably, or maybe vice versa. I get the, you know, Legacy Six Flags one, renew it there, depending on pricing and how it all looks, knowing that I might be able to add on the other one, which would be less expensive than buying the Cedar Fair Legacy. I mean, who knows? There's a lot to work through.
I agree. And again, I'm not super passionate about this because I don't travel to a lot of other parks, but I think that they owe it to people like you and people that would want to travel and that are spending their hard-earned money to, at the very least, make it very clear as to what they're getting for their money. The Six Flags people, I mean, I'm sure they've seen it on their end too, because Six Flags hasn't always been the prestigious company that it is now. But we lost a lot of trust with the Prestige Pass, you know, and that came down to a lot of people saying, like, well, what if I buy the dining plan? And then they just change the language on the website saying 1 meal per visit instead of 2, or 5 hours between meals instead of 4, you know, because they can just do that. And it's unapologetic too. They never addressed it. The park president, and Lord knows the spokesperson, never said anything about it. But with this, if you screw this up from the beginning, like, that's your legacy. It's going to take years to rebuild that, you know?
Yeah. Now here you and I are going, you know, just talking about what we've seen, you know, the speculation piece of it. And that's all this is, a speculation, but we, you know, could find that, you know, that option to get all the parks at one time, you know, is going to be there when they go on sale. Nobody knows.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that's it, because these people say that they've got leaked documentation or whatever. And all of this, the whole thesis of this episode is that we're assuming that this is true. Now
Yeah,
it's
well, we had a lot of
quite
people that came up to us after that was out there, and you and Ryan going to talk about this on Tower Topics because I'm curious about this. Is this what's going to be? So again, we are a show for Kings Island fans, and that's why we're doing this episode is because you brought the concerns to us to talk about it.
Yeah. We're not shills. We're not getting the media day. Don, if you were invited to media day, it's not going to happen. If you were invited to media day, how would you be the best looking guy at the whole media day event?
Well, Ryan, I got to tell you, for that event, I would not wear one of my Hawaiian shirts for once, and I
What
would
about
wear
one with
a
my Beagle
Tower
on it?
Topics shirt. A Tower Topics shirt. Comes in this North Carolina blue, available in whatever size you may need. Just $22. That includes shipping. It's shipped within a matter of days of making your purchase. We do that through Venmo. We would send you the QR code if you're interested. Just send us a direct message on our X, which is Tower_Topics, and just let us know what size or sizes, if you want to order multiple shirts, you may need, and we'll get those out to you. And appreciate the support for the show.
Yeah, $22 including shipping. It's a great deal, so we really appreciate the support. We'll be right back with the listener questions. First listener question is from Angela S. from Deer Park, Ohio. What were your thoughts on the Gazillion Bubble Show, and would you like to see it return in 2025?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I saw it multiple times. I thought it was very entertaining. The crowd just loved it, and I would look around and just, see how the families were enjoying it. And I thought, of all the shows they've had in there in recent years, that this one was right up there, with all the others. So, yeah, I think if it came back next year, I think it'd be well received. It was definitely popular, and in a number of guests, whether we saw it on social media or just from being at the park talking to people, uh, they saw it multiple times too.
I saw it 3 times. And remember, I was a naysayer. I was the one who, because I saw it, I guess 4 times technically, because I saw it at SeaWorld a long time ago. But the energy behind the show was fantastic. The kids loved it. The adults loved it. People went nuts when it was over. Is it the finest work of art? Is it their Monet? No. But as far as theme park entertainment, it's pretty high up there. Will it return in 2025? They'd be fools not to bring it back. In fact, they'd be fools not to bring it back for a longer run.
No, I think, Ryan, I think they had 5 weeks. They ended up extending it for a couple of weeks. So it was 5 weeks. I think that might be about the right, with how many season pass holders there are and what your makeup is every day, season pass versus the paying guest and group sales and everything. I think that might be a good kind of run, and just have something that, there's definitely the urgency to come see it. If you enjoyed it, you're going to come back again because it's not going to be there 2 months from now. So I think from that standpoint, I think a shorter run, 4 to 5 weeks, that worked for the show because the demand was certainly there for it.
Yeah, I mean, there was one of the times I saw it where we had to wait for them to find seats for us. We were fortunate to be able to see the show. Now, with that being said, though, I would caution you, and I don't disagree with your point, because I think the limited run was one of the attractors for that. But what I would caution you about is that the whole thing of, I mean, the core season's like 20 weeks long, and we're running the show for 3 to 6 weeks.
Well, you want to have something else. Ideally, you'd want to not have the theater dark and have other things in there. But I think the deeper it would go. So this show didn't even start till July. So this show had started right after Memorial Day. By the time you get to the end of July, with the heavy concentration of pass holders, would you still have a difficult time getting a seat if you got into August? To me, I think that's the right thing to do. Is the 5 weeks was about the right amount of time for this show, and that's what you see when it's elsewhere. Normally, it's a 5 to 6 week show.
Yeah, and here's the cool thing, and put on your PR hat for a second, and just imagine where you have that show and it runs until like maybe the weekend after the 4th of July, and then you might have Carnival or something, but generally speaking, you don't have anything to tell a story on a grand scale. But imagine 2 weeks later, you open a new show. You're opening a new show the second week of July. I mean, don't you think that would be like a competent PR person's dream to get that in all the papers and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you always wanted something new. That's one of the things with the news media. What's new? What's happening at Kings Island? They were always interested in that. So yeah, I mean, the more new things you have to work with, the better if you're a PR person. And I think
Yeah.
you had the guy that did the show. He seemed very personable in that. Perfect guy. To have the morning TV shows coming out and having them sit down and talk with him and letting them make their own bubbles. The reporter that came out and him showing them how to do it and things. I think that would have made a lot of opportunity there if you're a PR person when you have a show like that. What you can do with it in terms of getting the word out, and then while you're getting the word out about the show, you're also getting the name Kings Island or whatever park you're with. You're getting that out there.
Or yeah, and if you're starting at Memorial Day, you're getting, oh, by the way, season passes are on sale right now.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously for the run that they had this time, they probably sold the King's ransom of season passes they normally sell. But yeah, if they were opening this Memorial Day weekend, that would be fantastic. Of course.
Yeah, but I see other parks, doing shorter runs with shows, and there's always something new going on. So I'm getting releases from these other parks that are talking about what's next, what's new, what's coming up. And we do the Pick Six. We always see the same park. Sometimes they're introducing new shows all the time.
Holiday
throughout
World.
the year. Holiday World, Dollywood. So there's a lot of other ones out there too that are doing the same thing. So I think that if you can have 2-3 different shows that would be in that theater from Memorial Day through Labor Day, I think that would be fantastic. And as a PR person, I mean, that would be a dream to have different things to work with like that.
I mean, so Grand Carnival happens for a reason, right? So, and it's when it is for a reason. Part of it's logistics because they have those fleets of floats, but also part of it is, okay, 4th of July is over, water park opening's over, new ride opening's over. We need to get them talking somehow. And that's part of what Grand Carnival does.
Right.
So imagine having a new show and being able to speak to that in the middle of the summer, in like mid-July, have it run out the last 6 weeks, even when there's 8 o'clock closes or whatever, you could still have it, So yeah,
right.
That would be, okay. So to answer your question, Angela, if they don't have that come back next year, beyond like maybe the show's booked out somewhere else, but there's several people that do it from that company, but I'll eat my hat if it's because they don't want to, because you're stuck with that show.
I mean, the crowd loved it, and I really enjoyed watching, the families with the young kids and just how much they liked it, and the parents liked it. When a lot of times you see it appeals to guests of all ages. This one certainly did.
Yeah, and it's the Danny Yang, I think his name is, that does the show. He did such a good job. The last time I saw the show, it was a weird show because first of all, the kid that he picked to go on stage first, they put inside a bubble, was like so excited that he was like shaking and jumping up and down. It was the cutest thing. It was funny because he was like a couple seats to our left, and I was so hoping he'd get picked, and he could barely climb the steps because he was so excited. Well, he got his bubble thing after he was on stage, and I guess he was holding it and he dropped it, and the thing just exploded and bubble juice went everywhere all over this stuff. Meanwhile, on the stage, they're doing the Christmas part with when they play Noel and the bubbles come down that have the white stuff in them and stuff. And the kid freaks out and runs off stage. And he handled it perfectly. He was like, "Oh, no problem. We'll just get somebody. It's fine." So yeah, he would be fantastic. I'm sure that anybody that does it, to put on that show, you have to really be a people person and can present yourself and understand the visuals and stuff and what's attractive. So they have somebody threw a pitch at them and the ball's over the plate and it's just sitting there waiting for a home run to be hit from a marketing standpoint. But
yeah, I mean, remember when they had when Ed Alonso was there? I mean, he made the rounds, was on every Cincinnati, Dayton, Columbus, even Louisville TV stations, was out there promoting his show was going to be there when they had the circ shows. The media would come out in the morning and do their things and learn how they were doing the stunts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was always great opportunity for me, whenever there was a new show opening up, to be able to leverage that. Even Rock Band Live, you might remember that back from 2010.
Oh, I remember Rock Band Live. I remember you guys lost your CEO over Rock Band.
When that show came in. But I mean, again, it was a thing where, all the different, stations, the reporter came out and, we were able to work them into where they could become part of that show. So, I mean, there's just a lot of opportunity there. So as a PR person, you always like it when you have, new shows opening up.
Okay. Let me ask you a 2-part question. Part one is, they have him, but let's not even talk about the bubble guy. Rock Band Live, the Cirque, Ed Alonso. What is the benefit to the park of having making the effort of a PR campaign behind them?
Because the name Kings Island gets out there,
and that sells tickets.
Yes, it does, because it's top. You can't take it for granted that it's top of mind. I mean, the park, it's mature now. It's 52 years old. The Eiffel Tower, that ornament's been there forever. So people driving up and down, it just now blends into the woodwork. When you're driving up and down 71. So you can't bank on top of mind awareness. You have to keep it in front of people. You have to keep reminding people that it's there. You have to kind of do things that make them, oh yeah, we haven't been there yet this year. We need to go, because summer goes by quick, and if you're just quiet all the time, you do something at the, opening day, you do something Memorial Day weekend, and then you don't do things to get it out there. That's not going to help you. You have to make sure that you're always staying in front of people.
So you're saying that from a marketing standpoint, this sort of stuff, the morning shows, the media hits like that are pretty essential to the business plan.
A lot of value in that. I mean, people are getting ready for work, and let's take the family this weekend.
So second part of the question,
they're not going to think about it unless you put it in front of them.
So why wasn't the bubble show on morning shows or Grand Carnival or anything like that? Do you think that maybe the thought process?
I can't answer that question. I'm not there, so I can't answer that question. I just know what I would have done.
Yeah. Well, Angela, there's a monkey's paw here, and you ask a question and you got an answer, and it was once again way more than you bargained for when it came to this. So thank you for the question. Really appreciate it. Believe it or not, we have a second listener question, but
we do.
Brian T from Loveland, Ohio. Where's the best place to watch Grand Carnival Parade?
I think for me, I like watching it by the entrance to the racer because it's coming at you down Coney Mall, and then it kind of makes the turn right there. There's a show stop right there. So I enjoy watching it there. Where's your favorite spot, Ryan?
Much like the Bengals game, I prefer to watch it on TV. No, I'm kidding. So I've got 2 favorite spots, and it's shifted now because the parade route shifted. But number 1 is where I watch the parade on Saturday, and that's kind of like where the games area is for Coney Mall, because it is a big stretch. It's not like I'm 6'1", so I don't necessarily have to stand right on the line. So if I have to stand behind a kid or something, it's fine. But it's a big area. If the sun's out, I mean, obviously 9 o'clock is a little different, but if the sun's out, you can duck into the arcade in the shade for a little bit, waiting for the parade to come, and the views are really good. Other than that, International Street, I guess this year would be close to like La Rosa's, in the middle-ish. It used to be on the opposite side near like Starbucks. You and I watched it at Starbucks several times, but since the parade terminates there, you don't get the whole experience. You get up until the show stop, and then it's over. So I guess you and I are kind of in agreement where Coney Mall is kind of the place to be, though. You say near the racer. I say a little bit down near the games booth, but it's the same show stop. So we're basically watching it next to each other, Don. Oh my God. I'm going to need a drink after this one. Hey, I'm Ryan Sir along with Don Helbig, and this is Tower Topics.